Here's the game. Le Chat, a cat from France. Let's see. Well, let's try a Sicilian. Played a French or Scandinavian recently. Yeah. Okay, so let's go with the classical Sicilian. And develop my knight to c6. So that's my classical line. See what he does. Not quite as common as the Najdorf, but still a very popular move, and I think it's a little bit sounder than the dragon. I've lost a lot of games in the dragon. It leads to interesting play, usually. So he just went f3. Let's see. So he's setting up for the English attack. So I think the best response is the immediate e5. In a way, this knight c6 move prepares e5, but I don't always like to play it. But against the English attack where he's got f3, I think it's a reasonable way to play. Oh, he went back there. That's a bit unusual. So let's go ahead and castle. And then I'm going to play for pushing the d-pawn forward. By playing bishop to e6. And he is going to play for castling on the queen side. Now can I play bishop d6, or can I play pawn to d5 anyway? Pawn there, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. No, I need one more piece on that. Okay, so then I have to worry about how I'm going to defend that pawn, because he can pile up pressure with knight to b5. So let's cover the b5 square. And let's step aside with the queen. If he pushes that pawn forward, I'm just going to move my knight back to e8. And so, yeah, I think I want this rook to come to the c-file. So in the interest of getting a quick d-pawn push, I'll move the other rook to the d-file. And he just goes there. Well, that's a good square for his knight. What can I say? So if I push d5 now, kind of undermines his knight. Not really. The knight's defended on the other side. So d5, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, and my my bishop or knight, yeah, probably bishop there, is defended by the rook, so he can't take it with the queen. He can take here at any time. But let's go ahead and get in that d5 push while I can. If you can get away with this d5 push, then a lot of your problems are solved. He can try pushing on with g4 or g5, g4 to g5, hitting my knight, but I can push on and fork his knight and his bishop. So I think that is okay for me as well. So a pretty interesting position here. There may be ideas of a knight sacrifice. Knight takes g7, king takes, bishop h6 check, king drops back, and then the queen comes here with check and a mate threat. So maybe he's calculating that. Does that actually work? Knight takes. Of course, you know, one idea is I don't take back. I push the pawn forward. But if I took, and he played the check, and I went back, yeah, this knight is here, blocking the bishop's view of the g5 square. So Okay, so he in the end decided for the pawn push. So I can't afford to move the knight. That would give away the d pawn for nothing, and his attack would keep rolling. So I have to go for the pin. I mean, I have to go for the counterattack with this pawn push. Fortunately, it's a fork, and so even though I had to, I had to take back because that pawn was still attacking my piece. Sometimes that's a tempo move that can cause you trouble in a sequence. But even after I take back, the pin or the fork here is still on. So he's going for that. So I am going for the knight first. Now my bishop is guarding the g4 square, so this is a little better than that other line. And he needs to respond in some way because I'm hitting his queen. So hitting his queen in two ways. Hitting it with the rook and hitting it with the pawn. And he just doesn't have a quick mate here. He can't play queen there. He can play queen there. That's true. Okay, let's see. I can throw in an exchange on the d file at any time. But let's start by taking the knight. If I take the knight, and then I play g6, he can take, I can take. And then I've got my my queen working along this file, rank. I've got my queen working on the 7th rank. And, okay, so he decided to throw in that exchange. Yeah, either one of us gets that exchange at any time. But now I get my my rook on the e file here. So I actually have queen to queen d5 threatens. I mean queen d7 threatens mate and hits the pawn, but he just plays bishop to bishop d3 there, defending the pawn, and that seems to solve everything. So let's go back to my king side here. So I'm just thinking if he takes, I'll take back with the f pawn. So he doesn't take right away anyway. Let's see. So do I have time for a move like knight to... well, let's throw in this check. That always, not always, that might be useful at some point. He can't take it because I have this pawn forward with check, and I would win a piece. So his king goes there. Is there a check? The check with the knight is here. Knight to b4 is interesting to get rid of this bishop, but the bishop could go here. There's knight to d4. Looking at this square, looking at the pawn. Again, if he takes, I take with the pawn. He can sacrifice on g6 with the bishop. I take. Queen takes with check. I can block with the bishop. So I think everything kind of holds together here. So he brings more force to bear. That may be, now he's threatening to, now he's actually threatening to sacrifice. And I have not got the sacrifice here. Well, let's see. If I bring my queen over like this and he sacrifices, I take with the pawn, then his next piece to come in has to be the queen, and I can trade, and then the rook comes in. And he gets my bishop at the end of that. The rook check. Can I defend with the rook? Yeah, I guess this is a defense. And if he does start sacrificing, I have this counterplay against c2 there. So my idea was to block with the bishop here. He has a check there. Aha, that's interesting. Yep. This check is guarded by the knight. He's still guarding c2 with his queen. So he probably has a perpetual here. He can check on e8. My king goes to h7, and he can come back and check here again. Yeah, so this is the only legal move. Yeah, I couldn't block because my bishop is pinned. The question is, does he have more than a perpetual? And then he can come back and check me and drive my king back. And so he can repeat moves that way. Get a draw. But does he have more? That's the question. And of course, it has to be something pretty sharp, all with checks, because otherwise the queen takes on c2 threat is too strong. That's mating. So, well, he gets to search here and see if he can find anything. I don't see it, though. I would have thought from this position, maybe he has something. If he takes with the rook, I take. Then his queen can check over here. Or if he took with the bishop first and I take, and then he checked with the queen over here. So one more move. Is this, what's that? That's a draw, right? Yeah, okay, well, anyway, it's an interesting example of how to defend a Sicilian position which when you come under attack. So we'll check that out with a postmortem and see if I had better than a draw at any point. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.